Morning, welcome to our morning devotion today, our daily devotion in this Lent on March 19th, 2020, the feast day of St. Joseph. We're reading, continuing our daily lessons through Mark. Today, Mark 30, chapter 7, 31 through 37. Then he returned from the region of Tyre and went through Sidon to the Sea of Galilee in the region of the Decapolis. And they brought to him a man who was deaf, and he had a speech impediment, and they begged him to lay his hand on him. And taking him aside from the crowd privately, he put his fingers into his ears, and after spitting touched his tongue, and looked up to heaven. He sighed and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And his ears were opened, and his tongue released, and he spoke plainly. And Jesus charged them to tell no one. But the more he charged them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, He has done all things well. He makes the deaf hear, and the mute speak. This is the word of the Lord. So today we have Jesus coming and healing a deaf man, continuing his ministry here in the region of Tyre and Sidon. Sorry about that. To look at the camera and not look at me. His ministry in Tyre and Sidon as he continues to minister to the Gentiles, and we see Jesus, by opening the ears of the deaf man and the tongue of the mute man, is continuing to proclaim that he is Lord over all. He healed the demon out of the young girl yesterday. He'll be continuing his ministry, and everything that Jesus is doing is really making it aware that he is Lord over all things, that he is opening the ears of the deaf. He's opening the eyes of the blind. He's declaring that he is the Lord of all. He's the Lord of all things. He's the Lord of all sickness, the Lord of all power, the Lord of everything. Jesus is Lord of all of this. And so that indeed, there's nothing that Jesus is not Lord of, and he's teaching this in front of his disciples. And this instance, more than others, Jesus is actually physically touching. So for the first time, a lot of times he just keeps speaking. Today he actually physically touches the man. He puts he speaks. He put his finger in his ears and opens his ears completely and totally, and the people are shocked. They're amazed, and Jesus says, "Don't tell anybody." And they say, "Well, the more he tells people, the more that they continue to teach." But this whole part of the whole purpose of all of this, going back to a couple of days ago when we talked about, and he just declared all things clean, is that Jesus is challenging those around him, not just the disciples, but the disciples as well, that everything can be made clean. He's challenging their spiritual blindness, their spiritual deafness, their spiritual exorcism or possession, so to speak, from everything, right? That Jesus is challenging them to open their eyes, to open their hearts, to open their ears, that everything is made clean. And this is especially difficult as they're in the Gentile region, because now you're really pushing up against racism. You're pushing up against things that they've been taught forever, that these people are less than, right? That these people aren't as important. That these people are actually going to rule, or they're going to actually rule over the Gentiles when the Messiah comes. Then then the Gentiles are going to be like the slaves practically, for the Jews again. And all of a sudden Jesus is saying this kingdom that's coming in is a different type of kingdom. This kingdom that is arising is a different kind of kingdom, where not based by who you are, what your gender is, what your race is, what your status in life is. You will be the kingdom of God is here for everybody. And open your heart and open your eyes and open your ears to hear the message of the kingdom of God. This is what Jesus is saying to his disciples, and he's saying to the people around him, that you need to be aware that this is the new reality that's taking place, and that continues tomorrow, as we'll see as Jesus feeds the 4,000. That this reality of the kingdom of God being available to everyone, and what this new kingdom represents, and who Jesus is in it. He's the Lord of all things, which is powerful for us today. Jesus is the Lord of everything that's happening right now. He's the Lord of this sickness. He's the Lord of the things, the problems of the world, the market crashing, the virus going around, the isolation. Jesus is still Lord of all. He touches us, he heals us, he binds us together, and more importantly, he's for everyone. He's not just for this denomination or that denomination or this country or that country. He's come for the world, and his kingdom still reigns. And may we reign in that. If you've not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. Pass it, share it. There'll be more information about things that are upcoming. We are going to live stream the service on Sunday again, and then following the live stream of the service on Sunday, we're going to have the live stream on Facebook of the class on prayer. So that will enable people to ask questions. So do be aware, 10:30 we'll have the service, and then probably 5 minutes after the service is ended, we'll have the teaching. So stick around for that. Again, please subscribe, like, and follow us at our website too, at toccoachurch.com. Blessings.